Hello everyone, FTDZMMAY back with some more Bloons Battles 2 on the map Dino Graveyard, facing off against Spoon Oil. I'm trying out the strategy, Ace Farm Spike Factory. It's been a while since I last played. I haven't really played farms too much since the kind of eco early game nerfs. So it is kind of a learning experience, getting to watch someone else who's obviously a lot better than me when it comes to kind of farming. I got bored of kind of playing Darling Ice all the time. I did play it a lot back in Season 8 and got pretty good at it. But frankly, I'm just kind of bored of it and do want to shelve Darling Ice and try to do something different. But I do find that, it is kind of almost impossible to actually kind of play anything other than Darling Ice, just because I find that the only thing that really counters Darling Ice, well, is Darling Ice. So it is kind of a bit of a shame that, Darling Ice has become incredibly broken, as and Ninja Kiwi really kind of refuses to nerf ice shards. A bit disappointing. And they also buffed Snowman Pat, which again is also strange, seeing as again Snowman Pat's meta. Anyways, trying out Ace here. Not really sure how to actually fully optimize the strategy. I'm sending kind of spaced greens here just so I can get biker bones early, as well as just kind to save up into farm, as well as get pineapples just kind of as soon as possible, as I do need to get Bomb Race by round 5, so I can't really greed too much with the farm, although I do kind of do that here. I did believe in the pineapples was good enough in order to be able to defend. Spoonel ends up boosting yellows my way, and this doesn't really do as much damage as you'd really think it would. Just pineapples alone is enough to be able to defend. Boosted yellows, I really didn't leak that much. I was kind of willing to take the lives anyways, as again, I don't plan on taking this late game. I lose late game pretty much automatically if he is going for Darling Farm Ice. As you can see, he is. As you can see here, I was able to get my farm down a lot earlier than his and was able to receive pretty much no punishment. We are kind of tied in farms right now, which I find kind of crazy, seeing as, spamming space greens in the early game did kind of hurt my eco since I didn't get all the ecos from blue Bloons. Fortunately for me, Spoonwell has to upgrade his Darling into 022 or else he does die to White Bloons. He does use the Pat Fusty abilities just to kind of delay it, and so an advantage I have here is I can full send whites and basically have no issue. He, on the other hand, does have to either micro his Darling, which he's doing now, or he does have to end up upgrading. Even still, he is leaking just a little bit, so not really the most ideal. I'm able to get my second farm down a lot earlier than him just because, Bomb Race defends so well for the early game that, it doesn't really matter too much. Black Bloons are kind of a bit of an issue. This is why you do run Striker Jones with this strategy, as if you don't know, Striker Jones does affect, non-bomb towers. He makes Black Bloons, not as resistant to explosions. This is really important for the early game. I guess you could run Quincy with the strategy. The only issue is you would have to make sure that Quincy pops all the Black Bloons, or else you'd get overwhelmed. Or you just had to go for a different path entirely, like Nevinus. Now Spoonwell decides to go for a plantation, really just kind of this early, which I guess kind of does make sense now that I do think about it, as lower tier farms are incredibly inefficient. It's really the higher tiers where efficiency numbers get incredibly crazy. Even still, I decided to go for my usual, just kind of, 3 farms into, plantations and marketplaces and whatnot. And I do think that I am going to still be able to outfarm, even though he does have plantations, as he does have to set up defense for, round 9, round 11. I can still continue farming, because the only thing I really need is a 102 Spike Factory. Getting my Smart Spikes first, just because I do need the speed boost for the early game, and because I got my Spike Factory on round 9, I will receive 2 speed boosts for round 11, so that basically makes this not unrushable, but you'd have to send a lot of purples or zebras on that round in order to really get through 102 Spike Factory. So like I said earlier, this strategy is incredibly easy to play. It's not really too micro-intensive, well, not micro-intensive until late game, but that's if we even end up getting to late game anyways. He does have a plantation and another base farm down versus my 3 200s. I'm not really sure if his farms are better than mine. I feel like it is kind of tied at the moment, but again, who knows. I did float a lot of cash for round 11 and round 10 just so I can instantly send rainbows and catch back up in farms due to being able to place down an upgrade to a plantation. I am a bit worried about round 13, so I'm getting my another bomber race down just to hopefully be able to end up dying to that. Start sending out black balloons, which again is really interesting, as I'm pretty sure yellows and blacks, whites do have the same efficiency. It's just that pinks are absolutely busted. But I guess blacks do. I believe blacks send out slower, so you aren't able to build up income as well as get decent eco at the same time. Unfortunately, I am down on lives, so this does mean I do have to rush him eventually. The only issue is I'm not really sure what Darling Farm Ice is even weak against. It does seem to be able to defend literally everything. He sends a small region Rainbow Rush. This again doesn't scare me. I end up getting a second bomb race as well as just having Spike Factory clean up the rest. It looks bad, but as you saw there, Spike Factory does heavy lifting when it comes to defending rushes, especially bottom path. It is kind of crazy thinking that I didn't really think Smart Spikes would be too good in battles too, but it's absolutely crazy how good it is. Alright, so round 19 came along, decided to try out something different instead of going for my central market spam like I usually do. I figured it'd be best to go for banana BRF. We do get ours around the same time. I did get mine a little earlier than his. That's only just because, I guess, whatever. I was satisfied with my equal amount, over 2k. Was doing pretty good for myself. Upgrading to Spike Balls just help out a bit for this mob, as I didn't really want to get another bomb race down for just kind of general defense. As you can see there, Spike Factory, again, cleaning up really nicely. Sending him a BFB, as I was pretty passive this entire game, so I decided to kind of force at least something on his side, so that way he does have to spend just a little more money on defending or whatnot. Not really worried if he does send it on my side, as again, just kind of ODS, and Spike Factory in the back can clean up nicely. Now, something I saw is I had an absolute ton of money, 10k, just sitting in the bank around 22. I figured it'd probably be best to get rid of some of that money, so I just decided to get some more eco through pink balloons. I decided 3k was probably enough. I'm looking over Spoonoil's side. He's defending this pretty nicely. I end up forcing out a snowstorm, so that is huge on my part. Even though snowstorm, again, he was probably not to get it for just kind of stalling the round, but it still was nice to just kind of force that defense as well as an Embrit. So definitely a value rush on my part, and I didn't really lose too much eco or too much money kind of doing this anyway, so I figured it was probably definitely worth it to force defense. Spoono was also pretty passive on my side. I kind of expected him to send his UMG, as Ace doesn't really defend against UMGs too well, if you didn't know. Instead, he sends Regen Rainbows. Again, this won't really do anything. I did get another bomb race down just in case, but again, as you can see here, there's so many bomb races that it didn't even touch the spike pile at the back. So anyways, here comes round 25. I'm selling everything for my Essential. Pretty happy with this outcome, although DTs did scare me just a little bit. I was worried that I did not float enough cash. I was able to get mine earlier than his, so I guess that was kind of a plus on my side. Definitely am seeing the effects of just how cheap sort of, ace spec is for the early game. I would like to try out some other ace spec maps, as I do think it does have potential to be pretty decent. I guess the only issue is what other tower would you use? I guess ice, but ugh, had to run ice. So anyways, just kind of making sure that it was good for DTs. Getting another Spike Balls to max, so micro doesn't really have to be as intensive. I was able to make some mistakes and still be fine. Spoonoil, again, pretty passive, didn't send any DTs my way, and probably be best for that anyways, as 28 would definitely be a better round, as you can send, just kind of space out like 3 sets and really just kind of micro check your opponent. I did mess up placements with my farm, so I was only able to fit 3 in that little circle there, so that was kind of a bit annoying. Well, here comes round 30, the weakness of this strategy. You don't want to go late game at all with this strategy. Systematically is not a late game strat, it's a very aggressively aggro heavy strat. Decided to send a bat his way just to kind of force some defense. Again, I didn't want him investing any more money in farms, forcing a mat up just so that way hopefully he kind of doesn't farm. He still did go get a farm, that is a bit annoying, but I guess this wasn't really a kill him rush, just kind of more so get something down rush. Again, easily able to defend with the MAD on the field. having over $150,000 at the current moment. Didn't really want to invest in some more farms. Got Sky Shredder as AI Bloons were a bit of an issue, and hopefully just help out a bit more against DTs. Got 3 spiked balls down and a spiked mines down as well. Spoonell is still farming pretty hard over on his side. This had me worried a bit, because if he has infinite money, this strategy can defend way past 40 if you didn't know. Darling Ice is just that good of a combo. Unfortunately, I can't. My best late game towers I have is Flying Fortress as well as Super Mines, and while those two aren't really awful, they're not really all that great late game, especially, you know, Flying Fortress is definitely the weak link here in this strategy. I was kind of a bit worried against Moab, so I got a Grand Zero just in case. I decided to see how well a round 33 bad was going to be. Again, popping this fairly quickly, so I figured I'm going to have to wait just a bit longer for ramping to kick up just a bit more. Thankfully he was passive on my side, so I didn't really have to worry about defending anything. I'm not really sure how I'm going to go about defending tight ZOMGs. I'm not really sure if like SAR Baba Micro or just like selling everything to Flying Fortress to be the play there. As you can see, he's not doing as great as I thought against round 33 Fortified Bads. Even though he did pop it, DT's got really far, as well as the fact he did pop it pretty late. So I sent 2 F-Bads this round. He ended up selling for Ray Doom. This did have me just a tad bit worried, as again, I wasn't really sure if this would even be enough. Sent 4 out on his side. As you can see, he is doing some decent damage against him. Still has a lot of farms on his side. So, and I had to sell everything for pretty much this rush. Round 35 is selling even, like, you know, my aces. I even sold Sky Shredder. Hopefully, my plan is that he focuses a lot too much on the first set of bads, that he doesn't do enough damage to pop the second set of bads in time. And so as you can see, 45 DTs are really getting close to the exit there. Really, really close. You know, Impale wasn't there. He would have been dead most likely. As you can see, ZOMGs are even pushing on his side. Mobs are also making it really, really far. Ray Doom, again, just cleaning up nicely with its 1000 pierce. And as you can see here, there are 2 F-Bats that are basically undamaged. So he's going to have to do quite a lot in order to pop these bads just in time. I got Super Mines on the field, so he can't really counter rush with pretty much anything, as everything would be too slow to really do too much damage to me at the current moment. As you can see here, you know, he's using Absolute Zero, using Pat Fusty's ability, but even still, it's not enough. He does counter with Fortified DTs. This doesn't really do anything, as again, Super Mines is cracked. You know, Spoono, if that was you, that was actually a really good game. It was kind of fun to see how well this would do against Darling Ice late game, although this definitely would lose a lot against Darling Ice late game. Alright, second match of the game against Paper, who is a top 25 Hollow Master finisher in one season. They did forget to record audio for this game, but again, just kind of subbing in some Battles 2 music. Again, same strat, same thing. Ace Farm Spike Factory. I'm still kind of thinking how the best start would be, and surprisingly Paper is also going for Ace as well. And the best thing about it, he has Ace Mastery Cosmetic, so you know, Giga Chad over here, fellow Ace enjoyer, it is kind of nice to see, you know, people going off meta. It does kind of make my day, you know, seeing something that isn't Dartling Ice or any other just kind of meta strategy that you kind of see nowadays. Now, this had me curious about what Paper's strategy could possibly be, as usually when you see Ace, it's usually, you know, Ace Alk Sub, which you really only run on ports. It doesn't, well, it works on other maps, it's just not really ideal on other maps, as well as, you know, Ace Farm Spike, but you don't really kind of see that too often. And me and Paper are just kind of having a grand old time, just kind of emoting and just having fun. Two people who are playing Ace and just kind of enjoying life at the moment. So I was kind of curious, you know, like, what is he running and how does he play kind of Ace? As the end, you don't really see too many Ace strategies. I'm not really sure how many Ace strategies could potentially be viable, just because Ace absolutely sucks against ZOMGs. So it's round 9, he has Fighter Plane down the field, and he upgraded that into ODS. This is definitely a very, very interesting play by Paper here. You never really see ODS unless you're going it for Moab damage. You never actually see ODS for Bloon damage. I'm guessing Paper is kind of utilizing that +1 Pierce buff that ODS did receive a little while back, and combining that with, you know, Alk buff should do well for an 11. I decided not to really rush him too much with Zebras, as I figured, you know, hey, just kind of let him do his thing. As again, I did kind of want to see what he was doing with Ace, and he hasn't revealed his third tower yet, which I was really curious to see. So again, just going for the standard opening of going for, you know, spaced rainbows into, you know, yellows for rounds 13 plus. So in round 15, I decided to apply some pressure, just see how well, you know, Alkbuff ODS does against Boon Rushes. I absolutely screwed up my layering when it came to this rush, so he was able to beat this with pretty much no issue. Although I will say, you know, Alkbuff ODS did really do surprisingly well. All I did was force a Quincy ability. I was debating re-rushing, but I was feeling kind of poor. I sent some ceramics his way just to see if this actually does cause a Eureka farm. Doesn't seem like it, so again, I just decided to leave him be and guess see what happens. I guess he did facepalm me, so I guess he was very disappointed in that rush. I did try, unfortunately. Round 16 or round 17, he's pretty much fine, as again, ODS does insane mob damage, so he really doesn't really have to do anything. And he reveals his third tower being Sniper. He also has Sniper Mastery, so he's also a Chad for having that as well. Although it was kind of curious to see, you know, if I was able to potentially be able to get something past him, although I wasn't really going to be able to do that this round. So here comes round 18, decided to send 2 F-mobs his way with some rainbows layered underneath, just to kind of hopefully enforce force defense on his side. I didn't really want him to get supply drop, I just kind of want him to delay that as soon as possible. He ends up boosting on his side, so forcing a tower boost didn't really kind of force much defense. Bouncing bullets I guess could be considered defense, but even still, you know, he was going to get that event anyway, so I guess it's just kind of whatever. Since he did boost, he doesn't have a boost for round 19, so kind of all outing over on his side. He does kind of do the same thing to me with, you know, not F mobs, just kind of regular mobs with some regen rainbows underneath. Again, wasn't really too worried, as I did believe in the power of Spike Factory, which again cleans up quite nicely. He ends up getting Quincy 10 ability over on his side, so that was an absolutely insane move over by him. He did end up selling Alchemist for his supply drop. I saw that and decided, you know, hey, you need that Alchemist. You know, didn't really want him to kind of get too much alt eco kind of going. Decided to kind of layer that with the AI mob on his side. He does seem to be struggling quite a bit, boosting yet again and using the Quincy ability. Unfortunately, that was not enough to save him. Anyways, good game paper. That was really fun. It is fun to play against off-meta players.